Okay, let's talk about motivation, but probably not in the way you're used to. We're going to completely flip the script on this idea that motivation is some kind of magical force that you have to just sit around and wait for. Instead, we're going to see how it's something you can actually build, something you can create, starting right now.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're staring at a big project, or maybe just the running shoes in the corner, and you're just waiting for that bolt of lightning, that jolt of inspiration to hit you. But what if that's all wrong? What if the waiting is the actual problem?
So let's kick things off with a pretty bold idea from the author Steve Chandler. He says, "You have no personality." Now, what he means is that this idea of a fixed, set-in-stone personality, it's a myth. Who you are isn't a pre-written story. It's the sum of your choices and your actions, moment by moment. You are always in a state of creation.
And that idea right there brings us to the core of the problem, what I like to call the motivation myth. See, the way most of us think about motivation isn't just incorrect, it's actively holding us back from what we want to do.
So here's the myth in a nutshell. We think the formula is motivation leads to action. You have to feel it before you can do it. But the reality, it's the complete opposite. Action comes first. Action creates motivation. That feeling isn't a prerequisite you have to find. It's a byproduct you create just by getting started. Okay, so if action is the key, how in the world do we get ourselves to take that first step? Well, it all starts inside. It starts by rewriting the script that you play in your own head.
Let me tell you a quick story from Steve Chandler's book. He was having lunch with a young Arnold Schwarzenegger, way before he was a huge movie star. Chandler asked him, "Okay, you've retired from bodybuilding, what are you going to do next?" And Arnold, without even a second of hesitation, just says, "I'm going to be the #1 box office star in all of Hollywood."
And this is the whole key. Arnold didn't just have a vision or wait for one to appear. He created it. He decided right then and there who he was going to be, and then he started acting as if it were already true. See, the action follows the vision you create, not the other way around. So how do you start rewriting your own script? Well, as this slide shows, it's about getting clear on your why. Connect your tasks to that bigger picture. Give yourself a positive mantra, and maybe most importantly, get really honest with yourself about your own favorite ways to procrastinate. And this all brings us back to the real engine of motivation. It is not about thinking your way into a feeling, it's about acting your way into one. You know, Aristotle figured this out over 2,000 years ago. You don't become a master carpenter by reading about it. You become one by actually building things. And it's the same with our character. You don't wait to feel brave and then act. You become brave by doing brave things. The being follows the doing. So how can you put this into practice? Like today, you make starting ridiculously easy. Just commit to 10 minutes. Anyone can do 10 minutes, right? Or try doing that one thing you're avoiding first thing in the morning. Get it out of the way. Or just start with a super small, easy win. Any of these things can be enough to break that inertia and get you moving. Now, beyond just taking that first step, you can make the entire process a whole lot easier. You can stop fighting this constant uphill battle against yourself. Instead of just relying on pure willpower, you can actually design your environment for success.
The legendary football coach Vince Lombardi had this great line. He knew that confusion is the enemy of action. When your life is cluttered, when your goals are fuzzy, when your desk is a total mess, it's just really hard to be focused and proactive. Simplicity is your secret weapon.
So the goal here is to make the good decisions the easy decisions. Get rid of the distractions you always have to say no to. Break down those huge projects into tiny, manageable steps. And my favorite one, always know what your very next step is. You're basically paving a smooth road for your future self to just cruise down. All right, finally, let's talk about the magic of momentum. Because once you start taking these small actions, you can kickstart this incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing cycle that pretty much carries you forward. This whole idea taps into a really cool psychological quirk called the progress principle. And it's simple. We are way more likely to finish something if we feel like we've already made some progress. Just that feeling of being underway is incredibly motivating all by itself. This was proven perfectly in a study with coffee shop loyalty cards. Check this out. Both cards you see here required 8 purchases to get a free coffee. But the group that got the card on the right, the one with 10 spots but with 2 already stamped, they were far more likely to finish it. That little artificial head start was all it took to create the motivation to keep going.
And the lesson here is that you can totally do this for yourself. You can create your own artificial head starts. Keep a finish list, not just a to-do list, to remind yourself that you are a finisher. Hey, even add a few easy things to your list just for the sweet, sweet satisfaction of crossing them off and getting that ball rolling.
So it all comes together in what you could call the motivation flywheel. You take one small action, that makes the next action a little bit easier. That action generates some real motivation, which then fuels even more action. It's this powerful, self-perpetuating cycle, and the best part is, you have the power to give it that very first push.
Ultimately, this whole thing is about taking ownership. Your motivation, your energy, your drive, it all belongs to you. It's an inside job. It doesn't depend on your boss, or the weather, or what anyone else thinks about you. It depends on the actions you choose to take.
So, let's make this real. Let's make it immediate. Forget about tomorrow, forget about an hour from now. What is one small, simple thing you can do to start that flywheel, to get that first stamp on your card in the next 5 minutes? Whatever it is, go do it.